Alright guys, what's up? Welcome to a little project that I've been working on for quite some time. It's a work in progress, it's not completely done, but it's something that I'm actually really excited to show you because it's kind of like going to be a revised version of something that I've made in the past. So, as a lot of you guys know who have spent some time on my channel and have been like hanging out for a while, um, Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games completely. And one of my favorite videos that I've ever put up on the channel, one of my favorite things that I've done in general with games, is build a city in Sanctuary Hills in Fallout 4 that connected all the way down to Red Rocket. Now, I really like that settlement, but ever the perfectionist, I was looking at it a little while back and I was like, as I was building this, I actually learned a lot of things about building in the process. And I thought to myself, what would it be like if I took everything that I learned from beginning of end to building that giant thing and then started from scratch, right? So I started a new playthrough because I was playing through a bunch of different versions of Fallout 4 anyway. And I decided to come back to Sanctuary Hills and revisit it and see what I could build. And honestly, I gotta say, I'm really pleased with everything that I have so far. It's a little bit more polished. It makes a little bit more sense, I feel like, structurally, and also just the way that it's laid out and everything. You guys will notice some things that are similar from the last one, some ideas that I brought back over because I really like them. And some things that I kind of built off of, and then other things that are completely new that I never thought to do in the last one. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it, and I'll show you guys what I've done so far. So the first thing that you'll notice, right, is that the fences along the outside are a lot higher. That was one thing that I kind of realized about the last one, is that it felt less guarded, or not so much around the parts closer to Concord, but especially around Sanctuary. The walls were not that high, and at the front, the guards and the guard station seemed kind of lacking. So that was the first thing. I wanted it to have that kind of domineering presence as I come in and as other people come in. So yeah, I built that up a lot. And then the next thing that you'll probably notice is that I did something very similar to what I did last time on the front, which was kind of make a little dock area for boats, and also an area for people to sit down and eat and have a little bar cafe area on the water. But there's something else there on the end that I'll show you guys here in a minute too. Yeah, but yeah, as we come in, we'll open this up. Let's see. Alright, now we'll come in here. And this is kind of like your access to the guard stations. Over here is going to end up being a jail cell for people that try to break in. And using that house for that. And then over here is how you get up to the guard station. So you come up this way. And this kind of gives you just a nice view out. And a little tower. And then you come up here, and it's got all the guard stations with a really good view of everything leading up to Sanctuary. So if anybody was coming up the main road, either that wanted to attack, or maybe some caravans that we needed to let in, or anything like that, good or bad, we'd be ready for them by the time they got to the gate. And here's another little view of the little dock area. And that's one thing that you guys will find, actually, is that I really like making areas with views and balconies and outlooks and stuff like that, just because of how scenic and barren the apocalypse is. I feel like it's just ripe for amazing different little areas to give the player to look out and see how cool the landscape is. So let's go back down here. That's pretty much it for the guard station. Same thing in here. I just wanted to have a little bit more of a gap in between the guard station and the actual city. Okay, again, in case anybody got in for some reason. And I'll probably build up more here, more stuff to make it look like guards actually live here. I don't know, maybe some little cots and stuff like that that they can stay at if they wanted to change shifts overnight. But as for right now, this area is still empty. Then over here is another building. You can come up through this way. kind of see just like out in the top again, very big on my balconies. This gives you a little bit of a better view of like down the main street until you can see what's going on. And then if you come back down this way, what you'll see is around the back here, there's a little path. And this is actually a new area, something that I never actually included in my last Sanctuary Hills, which was basically like a town hall, or like a place basically for like me to speak to everybody and give them updates on what's going on, or you know, maybe we could host events here, or anything that, you know, people wanted to do, like maybe like live music if somebody found an old guitar, or you know, like a stand-up comedy night or something, you know, just like a place for the whole community to gather and have an actual like nice viewing area. And then just kind of a nice little like chill area here down by the water. One of the actual main differences that I'm doing in this Sanctuary Hills compared to the last one is that in the lore of this version of the game that I'm doing, it's a little bit less worrisome about hostiles in this area, because like basically like right there is a way that someone could easily sneak into the settlement. But basically the way that I'm kind of like thinking about it in this version is there would be like a little bit less of a chance of enemies ending up around here. And then honestly, it allows for a little bit more building freedom, which is the main reason that I did it. But also, I just wanted to try something different compared to the last one. You know, like I said, take a lot of stuff that I did like and also adjust some things that I thought would make it cooler, just from a building perspective. And then over here, what I built, which again I think was a cool idea that I wish I had done in my last one, is kind of like an apartment complex type area. You know, very small rooms, but livable and safe. So basically like each one is these 4 blocks of a room, a first floor and a second floor. The first floor would probably just be for like storage, or maybe like a little chair place to sit or something like that, or maybe like a little like table to eat dinner at, and then they would just come up here and have a bed, and that's pretty much it. But again, in the apocalypse, you know, having a room like this to live in, to call your own, that's safe and inside city walls and everything, would be pretty great. You gotta imagine what the world is like outside of this, so it's kind of like having your own little studio apartment almost, even though it's a little bit more cramped. And I did do a couple over here too. That's like the main one, but then I figured it'd be nice to just have a little bit more. So I did this here, and it's all pretty much the same thing. Just kind of cookie cutter buildings, but again, I kind of like the idea of that almost, that it's like an apartment.
No use.
And then over here is the trail that leads up to the vault. Safely locked away. Alright, and then the next thing that we have is a kind of like a clinic area. What I'm gonna do is eventually turn all of these shipping crates into like medical bays with beds and medical supplies, where people can come in and kind of see, you know, like maybe what's wrong with them, if they have a lot of radiation, or get some injuries treated, or whatever the case may be. Because there's a lot of ways that your health can get negatively affected when you're in the apocalypse. And then up here, I imagine, would just be a place for like the doctors to organize their supplies, maybe regroup, and, you know, just keep extra stuff up here. And we'll go back down. And this is just kind of like a little hangout area that you have to pass through in order to get to the rest of the settlement. And over here is another building. There's an elevator there. I'll show you guys that in a second. I imagine this will be like the communal kind of workshop area, is what I'm going to put everything in here. And then if you go up this elevator to the 3rd floor, again, you get a nice little view and just another section of the building. Honestly, one of the things that I've kind of learned in my process is that it's fun to build something that looks aesthetically pleasing, like, at least in my opinion. something that looks very apocalyptic, and then sometimes I'll do that first and kind of actually give the building a purpose afterwards and kind of, you know, make it work for what it is, because I feel like in the apocalypse you would only have like certain supplies to build with. So I kind of just build something that looks cool and then assign it a purpose, which, I don't know, to me it's more fun to do it that way, because I get complete creative freedom when actually designing the structure instead of kind of being bound down by, okay, I need to think like, what is this going to be as I'm building it. And then the next thing over here is, this is actually the house that June and Marcy Long stay in. Again, just kind of a basic little house for them. Actually, I think, no, the way that I did this is that this house is for all the original amendments. Sorry, it's actually been a while since I walked through this. But, because I've been, like, just working on, like, one section at a time and, like, really focusing on it. But yeah, this is Preston's room. Got the American flag and, you know, that kind of stuff. And here is June and Marcy Long's room, where they have it all cozy because they're actually like terrified of the apocalypse because they lost their son. They got a little turret here, and then like his toy car and a teddy bear. Tragic, I know, but I gotta give him, you know, a backstory. And then this is Sturgis, because he's like the handyman. And then he'd be working on stuff. And then in here is clearly Mama Murphy's. She's got like, you know, all the jet and safe and kind of like this whole like gypsy type vibe in this little room. And then out here is just kind of like their living room. Alright, and then what I did was, since that's all their like living quarters, you go up into this building. Again, this could just be like a communal living area for them or whatever I want to turn it into. And then I built this bridge that goes across the top. And a little fun fact here, every little like board that you see placed down here, I put down individually. This isn't any sort of like prefab structure or anything. And then what this is gonna be is like the Minutemen war room, essentially, where like, you know, we'll plan out things that we're gonna go out and do in you know, like the Commonwealth. Again, very big on my balconies and views, so I have that. And then, again, another area to just view out the back here. I mean, come on, you can't say that's not cool, right? Just to have like a place where you can see like throughout the entire thing. Like you can see the red rocket, you know, the mass fusion building, you know, you can even see the Pridwin all the way over there. It's pretty cool. Which again would be good for the Minutemen, because they could be like, okay, we're gonna go this way, this way. Not that they can see the roads from here, but it's just nice that like they have a visual of like what the Commonwealth looks like from up here. And then we can go back down through here, which is different than the way that we came up, because we came up on the other side. But thanks to the bridge, we can go both ways. Again, a little view here. And I talked about it in my last one, but you'll notice like everything that I build has supports underneath of it, so nothing is just like a floating structure. For me, that's a really big one, because it helps me like stay immersed and not like feel like I'm looking at something fake. This again is just a little like regular community area. I'm actually gonna turn the sun back on. There we go. And clear the weather up for you guys. That way you can just see everything. Alright. And then back here, I kind of built a little like neighborhood area. And this is one of the big improvements that I feel like I made from the last one, where like all of the housing for everybody was kind of the same. And now I feel like I kind of have like certain houses for like specific people. And then for like other settlers, I have this almost like mini neighborhood back here, and also the apartment buildings that I showed you. So that's kind of what's going on here. And then that's the docking area that I'll show you guys here in a second. But yeah, this is just more like regular houses, which I did something kind of similar to this, but not as unique. Like the houses weren't as unique looking, and also they weren't as big. So I feel like this kind of works a little bit better. And like I said, you'll notice that they're all just built completely differently and not cookie cutter at all, which is what I really wanted. Because I imagine like people would kind of add on to their own houses, you know, after they got here. So now we can go down to the dock area, which is down through here. Yeah, like on this one, I even used like a basketball hoop as like one of the supports to hold it up. And that's the fun part, right? It's like it's the apocalypse, so you can use anything to build anything. You know, whatever supplies you have is what you have. Yeah, so here, it's kind of similar to something that I made last time, where it's like a little bar sitting area. If I remember correctly, I think I've made this a little bit like wider, like it sticks out a little bit further, which is better than last time. And then I have a place just called Kay's Place, just because I thought it sounded like a cool name. And Sheffield runs it. You know, the guy that wants Nuka-Cola in Diamond City. Down here is where you would get on a boat and paddle off down the stream, maybe to like deliver supplies to another settlement or something like that. And then over here is where the purified water is handed out. And I have like a clipboard and a paper and a pen here so that everybody would have like to, you know, basically like sign in when they get it and make sure everyone's getting the same amount so that it's fair. Over here I just kind of have like storage of the ones that were like directly ready to be handed out. And then back here is basically like more storage area and also where the water is actually gathered. And then like some workbenches and stuff and tools to make sure that the generators are able to stay up and running. And it's funny, like, I feel like a lot of people would see this and be like, wow, you've done so much, like, aren't you basically done? But I feel like I still have so much more to do. Like, obviously, I still want to go all the way into Red Rocket and down in Concord like I did before. But I also just have a lot of decorating to do and, like, adding little details to make it feel more lived in and stuff like that. 'Cause that's one of my favorite parts is, like, taking all the structures and then adding, like, the furniture and the items and all the little things that make it something that looks like a place that people actually live. And now we're getting closer to my house. So I made a little like makeshift stove, or not stove, but like grill here where it's like a campfire with a fence turned on its side with meat on it, which I always thought was cool, which I also put in my last settlement. But I gave myself like a little bit more of like a yard in this one than I did in the last one. And you'll notice also this time I made this house closer to the end of the street mine instead of the original one that belongs to Nate in the beginning of the game. And then just because I like the idea of doing something different every time, and also I like the idea of having my house like right across from the market, which again I'll show you guys here in a second. But yeah, I have that little like yard area. One of my favorite little details is I have this like skull over here with like a lit cigar and cigarette just kind of sticking out, and then like a broken skull that I turned into an ashtray basically. And I have this power armor here, and also bobblehead like a vault boy with a combat knife like stuck into it. And then yeah, if you come in here, this is my house. So coming in this way, I kind of have like some of my own personal workbench stuff. Kind of an area where like if I get home from a big journey, I can just come right in and immediately have everything that I need to like kind of like fix my stuff up. And then down here, I kind of just turned into like a general living area. Like here's a little like electronics workbench, little campfire, TV, food, all my consumables and first aid and everything like that. For some reason, Paladin Dance is in my house. And here is like an area to sleep, and kind of like a terminal and everything. And then there's Sean's crib because I never wanted to get rid of it. A little area for dog meat. And then if I come up here, I kind of built a walkway into the actual like carport roof. And then you come up this way. I have some like armor on display here. Again, big on my views, especially one that looks right into the market. Couldn't think of the word there for a second. And then again, little like chill area, pool table, an area for all of my like storing all my armor and weapons that I'm not currently using. All my comic books and bobbleheads and like other collectibles that I'll put over here. And that's pretty much it for the house. So we'll go ahead and back down. And then this one is Nick Valentine's house. And I built it up because I just kind of wanted him to have like a nice house. Yeah, and up there is like a guard station area, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. There's not too much going on here, kind of similar to my house, just an area to live. Yeah, he seemed like the kind of person that would have like a bar, so I put that in here. An area for him to sit. I imagine like him and Piper would sit here and kind of like play checkers or something. Since they both came from Diamond City and already knew each other. Again, just some supplies and, you know, bottle caps and stuff that anybody would have in their house. And then in here, just a little like office for him. And then we can go back out. And I can show you guys the market. So last time when I made my market, all of the stores were pretty cookie cutter. And I also had houses like built over top of it, which I may still do this time, but I also kind of like this open market kind of feeling. But the biggest change that I did was make each store more unique and individual to itself. Just because I thought it would be cooler that way and they would stand out a little more instead of just being the same all the way around. Also, I made a huge sign that says Wasters Market, which I thought would be a cool name for it. A little like basketball hoop there with some basketballs like hiding around. This is still Nick's house right here. This is a store called Lucky Shot, which is all for like guns and ammunition. This one is, I think, is my favorite name. I called it Odds End because it's where the odds and ends end up. You know, isn't that a cool name? Like, you gotta admit, that's pretty cool. That's one of my favorite like names that I've come up with for a store. And I have the Vault Tech sales rep guy running it. This one, oh yeah, there's Piper. This one I called Ragtag, which is going to be a clothing store. And I wanted it to be like a little bit more rundown. Again, kind of ragtag. So like you would come in and buy here, there'd be some stuff. And then also like some more storage for clothes here in the back. Again, like all these like platforms and everything built like piece by piece. Just like little planks of wood and stuff. And then over here I have public occurrences for Piper. I let her set up shop here in Sanctuary Hills. So she would have her own place and all the settlers could like stay up to date on news in the Commonwealth. And then I have this one, which is the armor store called Armored Heart. And I kind of wanted it to look kind of defended, you know, like kind of like it was armored. So I built it up kind of in like a very like blocky way. And what you have to do is walk up here and the guy that runs the shop will like be right here and you will talk to him like basically like through this wall. And the way that like he can get up is to go in through here and go up and around. And then I imagine that would fill like all these shelves and everything just with armor. Alright. And then we go back out here.
There's Brotherhood, then there's everything else.
Let's see, what else have I not shown you guys yet? That's a lot of everything. Oh yeah, there is one thing that I do want to show you. Is that, oh yeah, I wanted to show you this guard station up here on the back.
I wouldn't be very good company right now.
Boom, 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 boom. So you come up here, and my reasoning for this was like, I figured a lot of like raiders and just random people would want to go to the vault to like try and look for supplies or maybe even look for a safe place to go. So I thought it would make sense to have like a big line of defense basically pointed towards where the vault is. So the guys would come up here and kind of like man their stations at night or during the day, whichever. And then if you walk further down here, it's kind of like another just kind of like area for the guards to keep their weapons and armor, and just a place kind of like for camaraderie when they're not on shift. And also, like, I have different like things that they would have killed while on duty that they have mounted to the walls. Alright, and then one of the last things I have to show you guys is actually one of my favorite things here in the settlement, which is hiding in plain sight, but you can't see it unless you know it's there. So let's go back down. Alright, and then right underneath the guard station is a secret passageway. Opens up and leads into an alleyway. Let's lock this back up. Okay. And you come through here, and what we're walking beneath right now is that guard station that I just showed you guys. So it looks like it's just built up on like regular, you know, like stone and wood and stuff, something that you would never suspect had anything underneath of it. But you walk all the way through here, under, and around the corner, and boom. Valentine Detective Agency. Stowed away, secret, hidden, and only people that are like directed to come here will know that it's here. And the way that I did it was I built so big around it with all the other stuff like the guard station and Nick's house on the front and everything like that, that you literally can't even see that it's here unless you come in through this way, which I thought was really cool. And then I actually gave him like a little like outside area because I wanted it to again feel like it was kind of like in an alley, kind of like it does in Diamond City, but like even cooler. And then again, I haven't decorated the inside of it at all yet, but I can't wait to like fill this with all its like furniture and details and little like knickknacks and everything to really make it look like his detective agency. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Like, and out here I might put like, you know, like some tables with umbrellas or like, you know, some like neon signs or something like that. Like maybe like some like cigarette machines, something like that. And then another really cool thing is, well, it does have an upstairs. I forgot to show you that. Just for like storage for like filing cabinets and stuff. But another really cool thing is that this opens right up into Nick's house. So when he wants to talk to somebody, he can be like, yeah, meet me in the detective agency, right? And they'll have to walk all the way around that long alleyway, and he can just go, boom, just open it up.
Broken.
Because I was just trying because that locks and unlocks, but open it up, and then boom, just like meet them here, and they'll be like, how the hell did you get here so fast? And he's like, I have my ways. Yeah, we'll close that. Right. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything so far. I still have a lot of ideas for things that I want to build, and I have a lot of like just like details to add to it to make it more lived in, but that's everything that I've built so far on this. And obviously I still, like I said, I want to build out into like the Red Rocket station and turn that into something and go down further into the city like I did before in the last one. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys, even though it's not done, but just because I was really like proud of everything that I had done on it so far. And rest assured that even if I'm not putting Fallout 4 videos out, that I'm always playing. It's my favorite game. I can never get tired of this game. If you look at my Steam hours, I have like 2,200 hours in the game or something crazy like that. And that's just on Steam, let alone all the time that I put onto Xbox when it first came out in 2015. So, but yeah, I would ramble on forever about this game. But yes, thank you guys for like hanging out and watching me, you know, go around and show all the new stuff that I've built and kind of all the things that I'm looking forward to building as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.